Hey guys, this is the second video in my counting macros and flexible dieting series, and this video is moving on a bit from the first one, which was pretty much why you need to worry about calories and macros and not just try and eat clean or eat healthy or do some kind of meal plan. So video for both coaches and people who are starting out in flexible dieting. Obviously if you're kind of new to this, then everything I go through in this video is going to be something that you want to do for yourself. If you're a coach and either you want to kind of get your clients into nutrition but you're a bit pressed for time, or if you want to give them the tools to do it themselves, or actually if you're still kind of using like meal plans and good and bad food and stuff with people, then hopefully this will help. So I found it pretty useful. The method I'm going to go through, it's nice and simple. Everyone can do it. There's only a couple of sums to do. You don't even need to kind of go online and look up like BMR calculators and stuff, which can work, but make it a bit too complicated in my opinion. So going to run through a really simple method. I'd recommend either having pen and paper or phone out to do it. So first thing we're going to do is talk about maintenance calories. Now that is the number of calories that if you consume that every day, in theory your weight would stay the same. So you wouldn't gain any muscle, you wouldn't gain any fat, you wouldn't lose anything either. Now, I want to work that out first of all because people have got different goals. So most people watching are probably going to be looking to lose fat, but there'll be people who want to gain some muscle, and there might even be people who want to stay the same and just want to eat to feel good and to have like a sensible way of dieting and maintaining rather than always yo-yoing. So what we'll do is take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by between 13 and 17. Now what number you choose depends on a few factors. You want to go for the lower end of the spectrum, so 13 and 14 if you're generally quite sedentary, so you've got a job where you sit down a lot, or you don't train that often, so maybe a couple of sessions a week in the gym, or you don't train particularly intensely, you might just do some walking, play sports occasionally. And also if you're female, because women tend to have lower calorie needs, they're generally lighter, but they've also got a lower ratio of muscle mass to fat mass. So unfortunately, girls, calories are going to have to be a bit lower. So sorry about that. And you want to go for the higher end of the spectrum if you're a guy, obviously for the opposite reasons, because guys tend to have higher metabolisms, a bit more muscle, a bit heavier. And also if you're active and you train a lot, you train hard, preferably in the gym, lifting weights. So that's kind of a relative starting point. Now you don't have to be spot on with this. I've got questions in the past from people saying, I've got a sit down job, but I train hard 3 times a week, or I'm injured at the moment, I'm only training once, but I work on a construction site. Just kind of go with a basic starting point, because in the next video we're going to talk about tweaking it to what you need. As kind of a caveat to all this, if you're already tracking and know roughly how many calories you need to maintain your weight, then use that. Don't worry about recalculating everything again. So you've got your maintenance calories. Just a mini recap, that is the number of calories that in theory, if you ate, then your weight would just stay the same. So you've got that, that's done and dusted. Next step is to put either a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus. Now a deficit is consuming fewer calories than you burn so that you lose fat. A surplus is consuming more calories than you burn so you build muscle. What we're going to do for this, nice and simple again, we're just going to take 500 calories off your maintenance if you're trying to lose fat, or add 500 if you're looking to build muscle. Again, there are more in-depth ways you can do this. We're just going to go with the 500 for now because it makes it easy. So whatever your maintenance was, so when you multiplied your body weight by the relevant activity factor, if you want to lose fat, take away 500 calories. If you want to build muscle, add 500. So simple. Now you've got your number of calories you need to eat every day. And obviously we could kind of go with that because calories are the main building block. They're the most important factor in losing or gaining weight. So that's one thing that you could do, just shoot for calories. But what we're going to do is also put a protein target in there. Now, protein's the last thing we're going to talk about for this video because I don't want it to get too overwhelming and have loads of stuff, coming at you all different numbers. So all we're going to do for protein is shoot for somewhere between 0.8 and 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight per day. So a really simple way to do it is take your body weight in pounds and just shoot for 1. So if you weigh 170 pounds, then you're going to eat 170 grams of protein. 130 pounds, 130, 230 pounds is 230, and so on. So that works really well. However, if you're not used to a high protein diet, then that can be a bit of a struggle to get in. Also, if you're quite heavy, then consuming a lot of protein is quite expensive and you just get bored of eating chicken and steak after a while. So body weight times 0.8 to 1.2 works absolutely fine. Now, as I said, we're going to go over more in depth in the next video in terms of working out carbs and fats to suit activity levels and personal preference. But for now, if this is kind of new to you, just shoot for those calories and shoot for protein. So also in future videos, we're going to be running over how to actually track. So if you're thinking, oh crap, I have no idea what I'm going to do for tracking, am I supposed to write all this down? Do I need books? Do I need spreadsheets? Do I need one of those apps? Then that's going to be covered in a later video. But just for now, know that the calories you've set yourself on the protein are about right. Don't have to be perfect. I like to put a calorie range in of 50 calories either side. So if you worked out you need 2100, then aim for somewhere between 2050 and 2150. Protein, 10 grams either side. So if you're at 140 grams, then 130 to 150 is fine. So I'll wrap up the video there. Any questions, put them below, and I'll be back real soon. Cheers, guys.